Hey there, everybody. I'm George Zekin, and with me here is Domo Furious and Playoff Beard. And let's have Playoff Beard take you with the news.
Oh, awesome. That was quick.
Yeah.
All right.
do the news. Do the news.
Put me on the spot. Well, also, we're going to have ice giveaways. We're going to have all that good stuff. We're going to have some interesting, smaller, but very important reveals for you. But not news. The big news is that we've launched in Korea. We're so excited to have launched in Korea. Domo Furious was on the ground in Korea for the launch, along with our CEO Nansen, and I definitely wanted to just hear from you, like, what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was really amazing. It was very exciting. The entire Korean media, they are all talking about Vainglory launching in Korea. So the main purpose of the trip was to meet with the press, meet with media, and introduce Vainglory and why we're different from other mobile games. And then we had a really fun meet and greet with Korean fans, and we had Nansen playing with them, and it was really, really fun. So we actually met around 9 p.m. and we went to this place and we played until like 5 in the morning. We had a lot of discussion in between, but we were just playing like a LAN party. Like there were like 13 of us.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Everyone's laughing.
Okay.
Surprise birthday dropped in.
So, Surprise Birthday told me that there was a beeping sound, and I'm assuming that was because I had a timer running and I did not close it. So, this is the first time I've used a stopwatch apparently, so I'm sorry about that, but
So
hopefully it's okay now.
The timer went off. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't know how bad that was. Maybe you should just reset real quick and tell your story again. We are very excited that we've launched in Korea. That is the big news this week. Domo Furious was there in Korea along with our CEO Nansen. It was not beeping in Korea, and many cool things happened there.
Yes, many cool things happened. So the Korean media is really excited. Korean users have been waiting for so long, for the launch. And let's see, what did I say? The main purpose of the trip was to meet with press and introduce Vainglory, what kind of game it is and how different that is from other existing mobile games. Another thing that we did was, it was really fun, but we had Nansen meet with Korean fans, and including the Invincible Armada team.
Oh, so our CEO met with fans over in Korea, met with the Invincible Armada guild. Yeah,
and a few more fans. And we actually had a LAN party and Q&A sessions, and we played until like 5 in the morning.
Oh, sweet.
And when we went to this restaurant too, and then we just took our tablet and we started playing. And then around like 30 minutes later, the staff came from the restaurant. The server came in. He was like, "Excuse me, you guys came here like about 30 minutes ago, and you haven't ordered anything. What are you guys doing?"
We're busy.
That's awesome. Is there anything you want to say to all the players in Korea who are coming in now?
Yeah, maybe I'll just talk in Korean. Maybe I'll say hello. 안녕하세요, 도모 퓨리어스입니다. 이번에 저희 뱅글로리가 한국 앱스토어에 출시되어서 너무 기쁘고요. 앞으로 여러분들의 의견 많이 기대할게요. 감사합니다. So that was I'm really excited, and thank you for waiting for us to launch in Korea, and super excited, and I'll be waiting for your feedback.
Fantastic.
Sounds good.
So we are live in Korea, so that's very exciting. It's going quite well, I think. I think we have Ed the Shred here just off camera to catch us up on the Android beta.
Ta-da! Now on camera, formerly off camera.
There it is.
Cool. What do you want to know?
So Android closed beta underway. I'm assuming we're adding more and more people all the time to that. It seems like we're adding people every day.
That is correct, yeah. So quick update. Last time we talked about Android last week, we supported around 11 devices. We now support nearly 40 devices. We nearly quadrupled
progress.
the amount of devices. Yeah, that's right. There's only like 3,000 to go, but we will get there one device at a time.
This posture, it looks like you're going to sell me something on late night
Okay,
TV.
yeah, that is sort of what I'm doing.
You have
That is
a hot plate that is only $19.99, $9.95.
Oh, yeah. And if you order right now, you get a second one for free.
The camera's crooked.
The camera's crooked?
The camera's crooked?
George,
Crooked, come on.
George, you're
pretty
having
solid.
some.
How inefficient this
You're
process
having
is.
some problems.
Okay.
All right.
George, you're having some problems today. Why are we all on a hill?
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna fall over.
Yeah, honestly,
Is this better?
nope.
No, you made
it's
it
worse.
This way?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
You used to
A
have
bit more, a bit more.
A bit more.
This is the kind of stuff that goes down on our live stream. No, that's
Yeah,
Good.
we're Super Evil is actually just on a hill.
good. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking
Like
about.
if you just leave a chair.
I would
Yeah,
be-
it's all good. But
Yeah.
see, you guys, you made all of us like really uncomfortable because we're actually on a slant right now.
Yeah, it's
Like
true.
to
'Cause
counter-correct for this.
if you
This
just
is really
put a
uncomfortable.
chair, just let a chair
is
go,
what we've
it
done.
will roll
Right.
down the
Yeah.
floor
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
old
yeah.
Oddfellows Lodge. It is a strange building. Android,
Alrighty.
40
Android.
devices.
Okay, another 30 seconds on Android. So we've added a whole ton of devices. We've actually now sent out more than 5,000 invites. We have tons and tons of applications that we're plowing through them. As soon as we get compatible devices out, we send out the invite. Here's something super important for all you guys who have applied though. You may not get the email because if you have Google Plus notifications turned off, you will not get our beta invite. So if you think that you've applied and you have a compatible device, go and log into Google Plus and look, the invite might actually be there. So we've actually been sending out a ton of invites. We've been wondering why people haven't always clicked on them, and it's because you guys have switched off your notifications for, I'm sure, really good reasons. But please do log in and actually check out whether you have that invite and come into play. And thank you so much for all the feedback you guys have provided. There's been some amazing feedback on the Android build. We look at all your guys' posts, all your feedback. We know of a couple of gameplay issues, mainly related to, say, the double tapping in the shop that doesn't work particularly well. And of course, there are still things like the missing notifications, missing settings, some other things which just we are adding and fixing along the way. Really appreciate your help. Tons more invites going out. Please, if you haven't applied yet, please apply. We want to get everyone into this beta because it's very helpful for us to get all the feedback.
So still
That's
coming
Android.
up, some interesting little reveals. We have 2 matches, Team Nemesis from North America region against Invincible Armada from the East Asian region. We're going to play 1 match on each region. It is going to be unfair both times. that doesn't make it fair because we're doing 1 of each. It makes it unfair twice.
Equally. Yeah, that's right.
Unfair.
Hey, if you
equally.
put 2 negatives,
Yeah.
right?
So we might need to settle this in a neutral location with everyone there physically. We might need to put a server in Hawaii. This probably won't. We'll see if it decides.
It'll be
It will
interesting.
only decide it if one team wins both, or if there's an upset. I would say
They'll still
But,
blame something. I'm sure they'll
I
blame
think
something.
it'll
It's
be
gonna
really
be-
awesome
yeah,
if Nemesis wins on the
There you
EA
go.
servers and
vice
they
versa,
win and vice versa.
Yeah. That would be
That would be
amazing.
good.
So these are exhibition matches. These are friendlies. That is going to be a good time. One last thing I would say on Android beta is if you did not use a real email when you submitted,
Oh.
Good
that
point.
could also be a problem. And if you didn't give us your actual player name, you need the Vainglory player name in there, right? There's like
No,
there-
the email is what's important. We just
It's
need
the-
your Google Plus email account. That is what.
So if
we
you
need
didn't
from
use a real email, that would also be a potential issue. If you're listening now and you like just supplied your Gmail, your G Plus username, and you didn't supply a real email, you should reapply to the beta.
Yeah.
That being said, if you did it correctly, do not reapply because you will
Please.
just put yourself at the bottom of the queue. So if you didn't use a real email, apply again. Otherwise, you don't want to apply. The one other thing that I would mention is that we are testing different devices at different times. So we're kind of going in order, but then we might have a day where it's like, let's take a whole bunch of people on this one device that we haven't tested yet. And we'll bring those people in. So there are some different nuances in terms of how people are getting into the beta and in what order based upon what device it is.
But we haven't
that you
forgotten
have.
you. We want to bring you
Yeah.
in as quickly as possible. And that is Android. I'll leave you guys to talk
There you
about
go.
the other reviews.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. So we're gonna have some small reveals to talk about.
Reveals?
But real quick before that, let's do that first. Let's do that
Reveals?
first, and then we'll
We're
talk
doing
about
reveals?
PAX.
Okay.
All right. First.
Well, this is Saw, I guess.
Wait, what?
Is this Saw?
That
What
was
is
like
this?
the least excited.
Saw.
Can we do that again?
This is Sawborg. Beep boop beep.
Why? Why are? This is the splash art for the new Saw skin that is coming. I am excited about it. I don't know why ZK is like, it's a
Hey,
splash.
it's a cyborg. You have to go. You have
Oh,
to
you were
speak
doing
robotically.
it like an android
I was
would
trying.
speak.
Come on.
I get
I
it
was
now.
trying.
I just thought you were like very not excited about the Saw skin.
Hey, I played
should have rehearsed
so much
this.
Saw. You're right.
We should. All right, I understand now. So you were doing a robot impression.
Yes, I'm
Can you-
apparently
can-
not a good robot.
Can you do a robot impression to Domo Furious here? Just speak to her, tell her what's in your heart as a robot.
Beep, boop, beep, 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 beep. Done.
Okay, fantastic. That was weird. We have one more reveal of sorts that I can tell you, and this might sound like, oh, they didn't really reveal anything much new, but if you stop and think about it, this might be the most important thing we could possibly reveal about skins today, and that is that skins are not going to just be something that you just pay money in the store. Skins will be a system in Vainglory. And I can't say anything more than that now, except there's a good chance in the next update, if we run into time constraints and want to try to get something else cool out, maybe the update after that, but in the coming updates, you are going to see evidence of that system, and it is going to change the way you play
Everything.
Vainglory. It will change everything. Much like that Shinkagen Solar Storm that we will
my
see later, it
goodness.
will
That was
change. It will change everything.
ridiculous.
So those are the two reveals for today. A lot more to come. We know you want to see Vox. We got some cool stuff to show you about Vox in a future live stream. But today, Saw skin. Show it one more time with
One
more
more time?
fanfare. There-
Saw!
We'll show you the skin. You want to show the skin in game real quick?
Alrighty, let's do that. Let's
Just to
go.
give it some context.
This is what it actually looks like.
There you go. So in game, there is Saw. Most of you saw this during PAX. We don't necessarily need to show the whole thing now, but it is this kind of, I don't know, you tell us what to call it. Metal Saw, Cyborg Saw, Terminator Saw is not what we'll call it. Yeah,
He's
Metal
just a
Saw. I like
Metal
Metal Saw. All right.
Let's go with that.
Sawborg.
Sawborg.
People like Sawborg is good.
Alright.
All right, so that is Saw.
Yep.
That is Saw.
You guys want to finish watching this, or should we just, hop back to us? Let's finish watching this.
People are saying the Adagio skin, so we should really quickly
alright.
show the
I'll
Adagio
swap
skin.
with the Adagio skin. Let's
All
just
right.
show both of them a little
Here
bit.
is Adagio. So far, the most popular name for the Adagio skin that players have brought up has been Fallen Adagio. We've heard Masquerade Adagio. We have heard Gentleman Adagio.
He does have a top hat.
Yes. Yes. So
Some monocles.
Goth Adagio. You tell us what you think Adagio should be called. But so here is what Adagio will look like. So the reveals today, and many more reveals to come in the future. The Saw splash art for the skin, and that skins will be a system. Let the speculation begin.
Alright, I have one more reveal, which is we have FooJee.
Oh, that was some serious CGI right there.
I know. No one saw it coming.
No
No
one
one
saw
it.
into FooJee. So FooJee of Team Nemesis, North America region,
Hi.
Vainglorious level player.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thanks, man.
Welcome to the lair.
Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. It
Awesome.
is. This is
So-
a beautiful place. It's miraculous. It's just incredible.
You've now seen all of our secrets.
I have seen everything.
Oh dear.
And we are now.
We might have to kill him.
Yes, we will have to allow you to participate in the live stream. And then
Please.
I'm very glad that Team Nemesis has many members because they will be one member short after today.
That's true. That's true.
But so you were telling me off camera that you guys have actually managed to do a little bit of scouting on Invincible Armada for today.
Maybe a little bit. Well, so I might be one. So like, there's Nemesis has got about like 18 people, and the majority of Nemesis actually, like ethnicity wise, is like Asian. So they have like a lot of like friends and stuff they talk to from like back home. So like they were like I was like reading lineup, and they're like, oh hey, like we know this guy, and this is what he plays, and he's friends with him, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So some connections I would have never had personally.
So down the road, it's going to be our job for these matches to like know who people play, know what the tendencies are,
Yeah.
you know, all this team comp stuff. We don't have any of that
Nothing.
figured out yet. We're at the very earliest stage. We just showed spectator mode for the first time at PAX. We can't even use spectator mode in the matches today, which just breaks my heart because it's not on live yet, and this is obviously a live match between two guilds that are on live. So we'll do our best to shoutcast this without spectator mode, cannot wait for spectator mode to be in the game. But,
definitely.
So a little bit of pre-scouting both ways. I think we can show, we can't use the music, but we can at least show the footage of Invincible Armada, this team out of the East Asian region, in action. Just tell us what, if there's anything you can glean from this,
Glean
or
from
if
this
it's
video?
pure, or if it's pure sizzle.
I don't think it's sizzle. I don't think it's sizzle. I think it's an impressive video. A lot of people have been like, "Oh, wow, this team is like legit," because
They are legit.
because they have a video. Like it makes them more legit than most at this point.
Is that how it works? I need to make the videos.
They make videos.
I think a
and
lot of
it's
our
just been-
viewers are capable of making videos.
That's been a lot of the chatter. It's like, have you seen that video?
It is very cool. Like,
It is very cool.
I got
There's
super hyped
actually-
watching this.
There's
Yeah.
actually like a really they did some really cool highlights on some of the kills and stuff
So
like
they-
that, like the Saw Burnination.
Yeah, it looks like they have a lot of. So that's a serious number of people
Yeah,
there.
they do have a big team.
For this game just launching in this region, so it's gonna be fun. Nemesis versus Invincible Armada later on in the stream. For everyone who's like play the match already, it is super early in Seoul right now.
Yeah.
So we are gonna play the matches starting at 3:30 Pacific.
Got a little bit of time.
We're gonna give it a little more time just so like they are not completely asleep when they play this match. So I guess this makes this a home team game for Nemesis
Yeah.
because of the time. I also want to mention just sending love out to our players in the Southeast Asian region. We know this time for this live stream is terrible. We were just talking earlier today about can we
What
do
can
a
we
special
do?
live stream for you, because we want to have Zcamp play with you guys. We want to do something for you. So please know we're thinking about you and we want to involve you in more events in the future. So spread the word if you're the one person awake in Southeast Asia right now.
It's like what, 3 a.m., 4
Yeah,
a.m.?
and we're figuring it out. We're figuring out how to include you guys in more of this stuff. We are based out of California, and it's purely just the time issue that results in this. It's not that Southeast Asia region is less important to us or anything like that. So we care about you guys. We started with you guys. You will always have a very special place in our heart. Players like Toilets and Zyronel, So Party God,
There's so many.
all these very early players. So thank you guys. And so I think what we want to do now, while we let the Invincible Armada wake up, is we're going to show you guys the Sunday match from PAX. So first off, Saturday match, Team Vixen versus Team Prodigy X. Just really fun to see that. First time we've been able to shoutcast like that. First time we've had spectator mode like that. That Sunday match, though. That Sunday match was incredible.
Epic.
It was the
Marathon,
most of epics.
crazy match. What we want to do here is we're not just going to show the match, because probably at least half of you have seen the match at this point. We're going to show the match, but we're going to have FooJee, who is Vainglorious tier. We're going to pause the video and we're going to let him break it down. So you're going to learn from it. You're going to get information from it that you can apply to you playing the game, as well as just enjoy all the crazy.
Most definitely.
So make sure, tell us in the chat, make sure you can hear the sound of the feed of the match and everything, that it's all working right. But so let's show the Sunday match, which was Team Molt versus Team Nick at Night. That was Molt on Krull. That was Gibbs on Kashka. And it was Shinkaigen on Celeste versus Lady Wabish on Catherine. You on Saw.
That was a Saw.
And Nick at Night on Taka.
Yep. That was a really fun match to play, actually. I have not played a match that long in quite a while.
It was long.
That was
good.
It was.
And the shoutcasting was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Too. So it made the matches even that much more intense. It was awesome.
Yeah, for me it was kind of the moment I've been waiting for in the evolution of the game. I worked in sports for 10 years before moving into games. I worked for the NHL, worked for the WWE, was a hockey expert, and calling a Vainglory game in some ways is quite similar to calling a hockey game, because the action is always moving, and just being able to kind of bring it full circle, move into kind of maybe the very earliest beginnings of esport was fantastic.
Right. So we're gonna let Stefan take it away because he's kind of just on stage now, and we'll start talking once the match actually begins.
Yeah, knock it in.
We'll have the intro first. Hopefully you guys can hear this. I'm pretty sure you can, but let me know.
They'll let you know.
Yeah, you guys will let me know, I'm sure.
Anyone hears me and can oblige today. That would be awesome. Play Beards kick-ass. And we are joined by Ed the Shred. This dude is a badass Catherine. Ed, tell him hi.
Hey, how's it going? So we had an epic match yesterday. It was unbelievable. The plays, the moves, the passion, it was incredible. Today should be even better. Looking at the faces of the contestants, this should be great. It's a 3v3 match about to kick off in just a couple of minutes.
So yesterday, Ms. Vixen brought it home, just played incredible. Her team won Double Glory weekend for the entire Vainglory community. Today, the players are playing for NVIDIA Shields. The Android beta just went live, and we have some shields on the line in today's match, so we'll see which team can pull it out.
Yeah, and we're not sure which one's going to pull it off. Yesterday, Miss Vixen actually took the crown. I mean, it was a brutal match. I think today is going to be just as brutal. It's going to be really entertaining for you guys. Stick with us. It's about to get started. So who are they picking today? What are we looking at team comp, guys?
All right, we'll probably get to see this here. And what I'm looking for, so Lady Wabish, we know that she is a Catherine main. I'm expecting that. All right, here it is. So Zken on Saw, the stutter stepping.
All right, so let's talk about these team comps a little bit. We got Catherine, Saw, Taka on one side, Cruel Celeste, Koshka on the other side. What do you think?
I think so. It's interesting because this is definitely not your normal like meta, right? Like in terms of like what most people would pick in the match. So, but I think like overall that was one of the things that made it more exciting because you're gonna get to see some like you're gonna get to see Cruel, which you don't see a ton. You get to see a lot of Taka, which is something that's not turned up more.
Actually, I'm going to keep the volume a little bit low so that FooJee, you guys can actually hear us, me and FooJee, because the shoutcasting is awesome, but we want to hear the commentary.
Yeah, a little commentary.
Yeah, if you guys want to hear the whole shoutcasted match, we are going to. I'll put the links. You can watch them on YouTube. They're there anytime. But we want to. So actually, I think probably the best thing to do is let it play and then keep the volume up and then pause it and let FooJee talk. I think it's probably going to be the best way to go.
Yeah, we can roll through it like that.
Alright, that sounds good.
Well, I mean, some of the cool things like from the beginning and what you guys will notice, and this is always really important, is just like whoever's in lane figuring out like how much pressure they're going to be able to take. Are they going to be able to rotate down and help their jungle? Do they need to stay in lane and keep farming? So whenever you guys get a chance to see Zekent and Shin going head to head, that's something that you want to pay attention to, right? Like it's something that a lot of times in I think perhaps like if you're in solo queue or something like that, that maybe people don't really think as much about. Like when do I need to actually leave lane? So.
Yeah, so for the most part, like when I was playing this lane, my goal was to basically keep Shin from roaming down into the jungle, which I was not too successful at. I was called down into the jungle a couple of times, got myself killed a few times here and there, but my goal was really to just pressure this lane as much as possible.
What did you think playing like versus Celeste in the match as Saw? Like how did that go for you? Did you feel like it was pretty like strong or?
I definitely feel like it's more of a skill matchup. I feel like I might have played that a little bit poorly. Crystal Saw is actually not too bad against Celeste because as long as he can get suppressing fire at maximum range, she can't really get close enough to use a core collapse on me. However, if I do suppressing fire, she's close to me. She's just instantly gonna stun me, instantly drop another Heliogenesis, and I'm just gonna take a ton of damage.
So I think there's just too much noise. So we should let the shoutcasting go at full volume and then pause it and you guys talk, or you know just do it like that because it's just too much noise.
I would actually prefer it if okay, sure, let's go with that.
Can they get a lockdown and then get a stun and then get another stun and take somebody out? We'll look for that. What are you looking for on the other side with Saw, Catherine, and Taka?
So I think we have a really interesting team comp today because only one team has a true tank, a true heavy, and that's Lady Wabish on Catherine on Team Blue. That's going to be her job to really ensure she sets up the plays for both of her damage dealers. She's got two really good damage dealers with her, and she's already, you know, we see her right here jungling with Taka, making sure he's getting all the gold, all the last hits.
all right, change of plans. We're gonna drop the shoutcasting. We're just gonna have FooJee commentate over everything.
They have a lot to say about this. So I'm
Figuring it
going to
out.
put the links in chat if you want to watch the full shoutcasted matches, and we're going to make the most of the time here with FooJee.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Perfect. So, you know what I love to see though is the fact that what you've got with Shin right now in lane is Shin is being very safe. He's staying back using his heliogenesis to get last hits, but he's also using his auto attacks because he knows the cooldown on suppressing fire whenever Zakent uses it, so he knows when it's safe to be able to move in or when he needs the back. And obviously both teams have two junglers staying pretty close together, so not a lot going on quite yet. Just kind of the usual farm beginning of the game. So some aggression perhaps coming in just a moment here.
Yeah, definitely. Like, this is the second day's match, so we were playing a little bit more safe considering the first day didn't go so hot. They invade our jungle a ton, so this time we actually dropped scout traps all over the place.
Yeah, I can tell. So we've obviously got a defensive wall of scout traps going into the tri-bush on blue team's side there. So some back and forth, a little bit of uncertainty on should we engage, should we back up. In those kind of moments, it isn't a bad idea for someone to pick up a flare just to be sure. You've got a team comp that has Koshka, so one of the best things about Koshka being able to pounce in a bush is generally if she pounces, she'll be able to twirl and get an entire like 3-stack in power just off of the champions before they'll be able to react and spread out. So sometimes the little purchases like that, if you want to invade, go a long way.
Yeah, definitely. Koshka really strong in the early game too. Like, much better than Taka early on. She does have increased attack speed and armor and shielding from using her abilities. So, made her pretty dangerous every time you ran into her.
Yeah, I imagine so. And you guys might be noticing like the entire jungle is just full of like melee champs right now. So there's ranged in the lane and all melee champs in the jungle. So you're not seeing a lot of poke, but we've got Molt going in and putting a scout trap in the enemy's bush near shop and some engagement here. So Koshka getting a bunch of empowered stacks off of those minions is going to make her really hard to deal with. And yeah, there she goes. So Gibbs is just chasing it.
Don't watch this. This is embarrassing.
Oh, the suppressing fire might have been a little to the right, but that's okay.
Embarrassing. I definitely thought my teammates were going to juke to the right, so I tried to like slow my enemies down, but
they went left.
I was like, oh no.
I guess that happens with suppressing fire. You get one chance to lay it in the right spot, and if you don't, then it's like 3 seconds of just sad face.
Yeah, I definitely gotta say my suppressing fires this game were not on point.
But really what they did here was once they pushed the enemy out of the jungle, they used that advantage to take gold mine, which is very smart. You don't always want to wait for gold mine to fill all the way up because sometimes it's better just to take it and get an early payout than have to fight like tooth and nail just to get the full payout. And it's also good if you're going to do gold mine and you're going to have the team pushed out, go by the shop, buy a couple of scout traps, and get some vision back so you can see when the blue team comes back in.
Most definitely. Like right here, you see me taking a ton of damage from probably heliogenesis and maybe some core collapses. I probably used my suppressing fire, God core collapse on me, and just took a ton of damage off of Shin.
Yeah, that's very true. And right now, Shin is only level 7, so assuming he's going to max his heliogenesis, Saw's like safety net at this point is going to be a little more difficult once they gain the extra range on that first ability.
Oh yeah. That's actually one of the huge power spikes in Celeste's kit where you get that 5th point into heliogenesis and your range goes from I believe 6 to 8, and that's just, it's very hard to fight back against her, especially on someone who's as like not mobile as Saw.
Yeah, Saw definitely not. So a lot of still kind of back and forth. You can tell like this is game day 2. The nerves might be a little high. I know that definitely everyone's wanting to take home the win in this. So you'll notice that the teams are playing very safe, rotating around the same time down the shop, trying to make sure that if there is an engagement, at least all 3 of them are there, so they have a better power advantage, and it doesn't end up being like a 3v2 scenario.
And real quick, I just want to say, so we happen to have Ms. Vixen, the captain of the Saturday match, in the chat. Is there anything you want to say to her and her team about that Saturday dominant performance?
Just like hats off, like just absolute murder, straight through.
And with so many Vainglorious players in that match, Ms. Vixen just hadn't been playing that long, and to have the most gold out of anyone. Yeah, it was an impressive showing. It was fun. It was really fun. It's good that
definitely.
It's fun that she's streaming now. I was on the other night until 4 a.m. People were able to prevent her from playing very well by subscribing, since she has to dance every time someone subscribes. It was pretty funny, but But yeah. All right.
How to win games against Miss Vixen.
Yeah,
Just
it's
subscribe.
serious. It's serious.
Make
Like, it's
her
like we're gonna
dance.
engage in a team fight, and then someone would subscribe, and then it's like, all right, now it's gonna be a 2v3. It was pretty crazy.
That is
was
crazy. And you guys have just noticed, like, with the pressure once again coming from the red team, they were able to put a lot of damage on the turret. And taking the first turret is a critical objective in this game because it allows you a lot more control over the enemy's tri-bush in the middle, the bush and the lane up at the top, because they no longer have that protection to fall back to.
Yeah, definitely. Like right here, Shin is just dropping Heliogenesis on me, preventing me from entering the jungle easily, and especially with the stacks of spin up on Saw, it's very hard to get away from those things because once I get a few stacks of spin up, I'm just walking super slow.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you'll notice Lady Wabish right now down at the shop. One thing to consider doing in these scenarios when you know that it's safe. Oh, and it looks like Shin might have caught Zekent on the rotate.
Tough
probably.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was going down to join my team, and then Shin was just waiting in that bush. Didn't even see him go in.
Didn't see him. And Wabish is now like placing some scout traps for her buddies. Being in the tri-bush where Gibbs and Molt are at right now is actually a pretty good position. Seeing that they can get the start. And that was a really nice long distance ult from Molt. Gibbs going in for the ult. Just, I don't really know what else could have happened at that point.
He was pretty much dead once the farmhouse heart hit him.
Yeah, that was really nice. And what was even better about that was the fact that Gibbs and Molt kind of, they didn't use their ults at like the same time, so they were able to stagger the stun to really keep them locked down and make sure Taka did not have even a chance to box like out of it. Like it was game over at that point.
Oh,
Yeah,
because they're talking about it in chat real quick, it's something I forgot to say in news. So we were scheduled to start Double Glory Weekend when the live stream was over, but Mightier turned it on already.
All right.
Oh.
So we're all set. Double Glory will run from now through midnight Sunday.
Sweet.
So congratulations. So everybody, I want to see everyone in chat thank Ms. Vixen, captain of that team. The community said Ms. Vixen would win on Saturday with Double Glory at stake, and she pulled it off. She played like 40 matches in just a matter of a few days just to make sure she was really ready for that match. One Double Glory for everyone in the community. So you can thank Ms. Vixen in the chat. Double Glory is now on.
That's hot.
That is awesome. Even though I lost, it's still awesome for
It's
the
still
community.
good, yeah.
It's still good. I'm okay with this.
Oh, win-win for one side at least. So one thing you notice Celeste doing, guys, with her Heliogenesis is not only getting vision in the bushes, but she's also doing a lot of zoning. So she's basically putting down these balls. So if for some reason Zekent decides she wants to move up on her, she can at least like explode it, or Zekent has to make a decision. Is it worth moving over one of these right now, or should I like wait or try to walk around them? So it just adds extra thought processes in the game.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And here we go in on Molt. He's taking a lot of damage. However,
Molt took a
he might get
ton
away.
of damage just then.
Yep.
Took a shank, and that's
Yeah.
always a lot of damage.
And
Gibbs
here
is going
Gibbs drops
under the
scout
turret.
trap. Oh my gosh, it does a lot of damage.
That was
Boom.
a ton of damage. Oh man, the scout trap for the kill too. And you guys like noticed they also took the turret out, right? So they didn't just focus on the champions. They didn't just focus on the heroes. They killed the turret just to make sure there wasn't any extra damage coming in. And they knew they could do it. They knew they could pull off the damage on the champions as well as the damage on the turret.
So right now, it was 8-0 in kills.
Yes.
And after that Saturday dominance with Shin and Gibbs, I know I was thinking, man, this might be 2 stomps in a row, right? It did not turn out that way. It's like, so as we watch, like, I'd love to hear from you. How did this turn? Right? How did this turn so dramatically? We'll see it unfold.
Yeah, we definitely will. I think one of the more difficult parts about Vainglory, and this you see in a lot of MOBAs, is just once you gain the lead, what do you do with it, right? A lot of teams will get a lead, and then you'll see a lot like of jungle farming, and then just kind of like farming lane again, almost as like if it's phase 1 of the game still, versus really applying a lot of pressure, really trying to like bring scout traps like up closer to the enemy. Like a lot of times that doesn't happen. You'll see scout traps still just kind of sitting back towards your own side. So build a little bit of a moving fortress, if you will, closer to your enemy's nexus.
Yeah, definitely. Like one thing you have to do is just you have to slowly advance your front line. You have to keep vision on everyone, or there's an engage going on. So this is actually really interesting because Gibbs runs away. However, I think we go ahead and chase him.
Well, and you guys did the smart thing, like you focused on Celeste like right away. It gives us still doing a little 1v3 here. So definitely the team understands the power of Akashka. So they're waiting for their cooldowns to come back before they go back in. Gives us just almost gets 2.
Jeez.
That was really close.
Yeah,
Kashka
that was
putting
really
out a lot
scary
of power.
for us.
And we've got
Shin hit some minions.
Shin hit some minions. His ult bit later is a little better.
Fantastic.
It's a little better than that one, yeah. And sometimes it's hard, like as Celeste, you do try to do a cross map ult, and sometimes like the jungle will spawn or something, and you'll hit the minions. So
Yeah, getting that angle right is pretty difficult, especially when your opponents are moving around. You have to shoot across the map. It gives them a lot of time to just get out of the way, or you just might hit other things along the way.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And you guys will notice when you're looking at the bottom, like right now, one of the things we can take into consideration, not only are the hero kill split, but you can also look at like how many minions have been killed by each of the players to get a really good idea of what their total gold income is, and then the way they're spending it. So if you're going to go up against the Celeste, one of the things you'll notice is that the other team is trying to, like, Zakent already grabbed that Aegis. Like, he knew, like, Celeste ult hurts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a lot of mobility. I don't want to take it to the face and die instantly. So already we have some counter builds coming in to what the other team is going, and Shin is, like, blue city now. It's, like, all blue. So, and then we have a little bit of, there it is again, Molt getting off a really good cruel stun, throwing that sword out. Zakent putting out the pressure. That was a really clutch reflex block or crucible, one of the two that was going out.
I think it was like both of them at the same time.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
And a really good follow-up here. Celeste with a huge ult, took Cruel down, keeping Wabish off. This is a very impressive play by Shin. Doing some zoning, but also being able to do a little chase. It's a scout trap, just blowing up all over the place.
Yeah, when we were playing, I did not realize there were so many of them. It was crazy. So Shin actually said yesterday that he thought I was recalling the bush. So he just drops the healer just in the bush. I was like, oh, I was right in front of him.
Yeah, sometimes doing the less maybe obvious thing is better. And knowing when to recall is really important too. Like Saw could have technically just tried to go do some more jungle or something at that point, but like after a big team fight, let's go back, let's heal back up so we can be full health in case the engagement starts again. Especially for Saw, because you don't want to get jumped on by Kashka too much, get locked down. And it's a tough team comp, like Kashka stun, Celeste stun, Cruel stun. Like, there's a lot of things to keep in mind there.
Yeah, that chain stun combination was pretty terrifying. Like, my main goal was like, I actually bought 2 reflex blocks later on, and I was just like, I have to make sure I do not get stunned, because the moment I get stunned, I am instantly dead.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, what I don't know is what blue team, I think blue team was hoping they would push through, and obviously each team's kind of wondering, like, where are you guys at? Like, where is everyone? Everyone's trying to find everybody. So they're going to take the second minion mine here to be able to continue that push. But once again, like, once you've got a lead, you really want to make sure to continue to push your lead. Something really cool about Vainglory is that if you're behind, one of the best strategies is just to stall. Because once you start leveling out, like to level 12, you start getting gold from minions coming in, and you start being able to buy items and catch up. It may be a slower process, but it works. So sometimes a lead in the beginning can turn into just an even match again if not pressing. So.
Yeah, if you can manage to drag the game out long enough, you can definitely just turn like a game that's not in your favor into something pretty even. Or if you have a late game team comp, then you could just stall it out and be like, we're going for late game anyway, so as long as you're not like ending the game, we're good to go.
Absolutely.
And so with this shot that we don't have any control over, it's hard for people to see the items. So just make sure you talk about the item builds a little bit so that people can get a sense of that too.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, so right now on Saw, I'm building mostly blue items. I want to go for that more like assassin-oriented Saw. We have weapon on Artaka. Catherine's going more or less tank a little bit of damage. She actually has an aftershock, I think. And Molt going with the weapon damage Cruel, which is, I don't know. What do you think about weapon damage Cruel?
I think weapon damage Cruel can be a tough call. It simply just because Cruel can be kited fairly easily. So one of the biggest things about Cruel is kind of staying power, and most of his damage comes from like his smite and being able to stay in the fight for a long time, getting a lot of those stacks up and being able to smite. So it does more damage. It's just a riskier play. We're talking about like risk reward with Krull's build at this point. So far, it's paid off. But we'll see like the lack of tankiness. How does that come into play in the next couple of fights coming up? Because the game is still young at this point.
Oh yeah, which is surprising because looking at 18 minutes, I'm like, that's probably over pretty soon, right?
Yeah, you'd think it would be. Yeah. And you know, Catherine going after Shock is probably definitely a reaction to her thinking that one, Krull is probably going to build tankier, so she wants to be able to knock his health down. But two, like she knows that Koshka at least is going to build one Crucible, if not two reflexes early, so she's going to want to be able to bring some pressure there as well.
Most definitely. And of course we see Shin and Gibbs going mostly the crystal route, so having those Aegises on our side, on the blue side, is actually extremely effective.
It is, and if you ever got, I mean, if you notice the other team is going to Crystal, the Aegis actually affects like Crystal far more than like a Crucible would affect like weapons. So if you're doing a trade-off and you really want to protect yourself against a large Crystal-oriented team, Aegis is the best purchase you can get in the game by far. So right now we see a lot of poking, not a lot of commitment. They're doing a really good job of stalling at the turret. One of the things Celeste can do, especially since Shin has built a lot of energy from his current build, is just continue poking the turret. You can actually get out of turret range with Celeste. You can drop Heliogenesis and explode it. It'll continue taking out minions as well as continue doing damage to the turret.
Right. One thing about hitting the turret from out of range as Celeste, you actually do a little bit decreased damage if the turret cannot hit you. So one thing to keep in mind, however, is just like constant damage on the turret. Eventually, it'll go down. Eventually,
yeah, and it makes the other team kind of like mentally think, oh no, they're attacking the turret. Like we should stop them. And sometimes you'll get the other team to engage away from their turret, and that's what you want. You don't really want to fight on the turret if you don't have to.
Yeah, most definitely. So right here, I'm using mostly suppressing fire to clear these waves out because I am actually holding on to stacks of Mad Cannon, which is something you can do on Saw. Like if you never fire your auto attack after you hit Mad Cannon, you can actually wait a whole nother cooldown cycle, and you can effectively have 18 shots of Mad Cannon.
Yeah, and it's very effective. Like you can definitely make sure you keep tapping Mad Cannon when it comes up, and you don't have to wait till the fight to initiate it. So keeps it off cooldown too more often if you do that.
Most definitely.
So we'll notice that Taka definitely has the burst build right now, and essentially what that means, in order for Blue to really be able to come back, they're going to really want to focus on killing Celeste as fast as possible. With Molt having Tension Bow, he's going to do a lot of damage up front, but just to the nature of Krull, the next big burst from him is not going to come until later in the fight. So you have basically all of the hits that I believe are, it's 8 or it's 10 hits, I believe, right, for Smite that can stack. So you've got at least that period of time before he's able to bring down another big attack. So if you can take out Celeste, you'll take a little bit of damage from Molt in the beginning. Obviously, Koshka is going to be something that you have to think about, but they don't really have a kite comp on the blue team. Right. So you have to commit. If Koshka goes in, you can't really run from Koshka that well, so you really just need to dive in the other direction and see if you can take down their carry before they take yours.
Most definitely. Like our goal, we definitely had Nick and Knight go in every single time Koshka jumps into us. And it's pretty good. Ataka is very effective against Celeste just because he can dodge the core collapse. Right now, there's a really, really good reflex block by Shin. However,
that was
Gibbs
a really
into us.
Yeah, Gibbs went in, but what was really effective was that the Wabish got a double silence off, and she just stunned Koshka out of the ult. But because Wabish doesn't have a follow up at this point, Shin's able just to do whatever he wants on Celeste.
Pretty much. Ooh,
and sniped.
Solar Storm.
That was actually really smart. You could tell what Beast was trying to do, was trying to get to the back of the turret so the Solar Storm wouldn't get her, but caught her right on the butt.
Right. Also, just having Gibbs on her tail, if she was able to get around the turret a little bit more, maybe Gibbs would have also died.
Yeah. Getting them a little deeper behind the turret makes it hard to get out. Koshka's tough, though, because if Koshka gets the speed right after like she gets her twirl, she kills you. A lot of times she can fly like high speed, highway-esque, going straight out of the turret range.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing you might want to note is that looking at the gold count, right now it's 13,000 to 19,000. However, this does not count in the trickle gold. So this is only gold that you earn at like actively by killing minions, by killing enemy heroes, or by taking gold mines. This is not kind of like, the 3 gold per second that you normally get.
Oh, wow, okay. I learned something new.
Yep.
Right now, once again, we're kind of back to what we talked about before. Kraken's up, so it's been up for a few minutes. No one's really felt like they wanted to kind of secure it yet, but we're still kind of at that point where the teams are not really sure. Red team, like, do we push now? We think we have the advantage. We're still up. I think they probably still feel really confident, but it is a stage match. It is day 2. It is PAX, so the nerves are probably still a little bit high, and they want to make sure that they don't engage when they don't have to.
So right here, we're catching them out. We actually do catch Gibbs, which is a huge bonus for us. He uses his ult on me, however he goes down before he actually goes off. The Wabish actually gets a fantastic shield, and makes Shin basically annihilate his own team.
Yeah, that was actually well played. Not only did Wabish crucible, but Wabish also popped her second ability, and when the shield goes up, the damage reduction is insane, and they get an ace off of that.
And I gotta say, when I rewatched this match, Lady Wabish really stood out. She was like the unsung hero of this match. I mean, what a performance in defeat.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. And it's very impressive to see really good Catherine plays. If for anyone that's familiar with other games such like League of Legends or something, your support actually kind of ends up carrying your carries a lot of the time. So when you see someone on a Catherine or an Arden or someone like that, they're many times going to be the playmaker.
Oh, definitely.
There goes 20 scout traps in that bush, by the way.
When I ran to that, I was like, what is going on? I heard beeps, and it's so many beeps.
Yeah, be careful about buying too many scout traps, because if you overbuy scout traps, then sometimes it's a waste of gold. Buy just enough to grant yourself vision, but you definitely don't need 10 on top of one another.
Most definitely. So right here we do see the red team respawn, and Kraken might take out this turret, but for the most part we're just trying to catch up in gold. So even though we weren't really able to defend the Kraken too much, any sort of gold income is good for us, because Shin is already nearing his full item build, and once he gets there, he's not getting any stronger. He's just gonna, kind of take gold for no reason.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we just saw Nick at Night make a pretty clutch escape. But Koshka with the Aftershock and Celeste with just an insane amount of damage, and obviously Cruel, who just does incredible damage to Kraken as well, whether weapon or not. Took it down really fast. Without the continual backup of the team, the Kraken just kind of got shredded at that turret. So
most definitely. And looking at Shin, he did actually sell his boots for a bit to buy a few infusions. He has his boots again, but he actually does sell them later.
Yeah, that happens. And it's a good practice. Boots are fairly inexpensive. You don't really need level 2 or 3 boots to be super effective. We actually have an engage here. So the stun goes off on Molt. We get a 2-person silence at least, because it looks like Koshka's still doing his thing.
I am taking a ton of damage. However, Shin does not manage to land his last Healer Genesis on me, so I'm actually able to loop around. You might notice me running up on the top side of the screen.
Yeah.
Shin goes down. However, Molt is doing some serious damage to the Wabish.
Yeah, he is. So now we've got Shank for the kill and another ace. So well played. One of the things that you guys saw during that time is, Nick at Night just making sure that his abilities were going to be off cooldown before he just went into a bush where he may not be able to see. It's pretty dangerous, especially with the Celeste stun. Her core collapse can catch all of you, and that can just be the end of the fight, right there. I feel like you are the scout trap pop master this game. There's so many of them.
So many scout traps. It was crazy. I did not realize how they actually spent a lot of gold on that. So I would say that's 1,000 or 2,000 gold just spent on scout traps that we basically just walked over and exploded.
Yeah, no, it's at least. And let's talk about pressing advantage here really quick. So one of the things that happened after that ace, we'll notice that we had a little bit of a split. So Taka went to shop, Zakit went to lane. But if you want to push, and you want to push really hard, if you get an ace, don't worry about purchasing. You've got enough time to push, get a bunch of turrets down, and then go back into jungle or go home and purchase, depending on whether Kraken's up or not. But just be careful about getting an ace and then not doing anything with it. So Zakit did a really great job of going in the lane, really pushing the turrets down. But the more people that can go to lane with you to help continue pushing the turrets, the further you're gonna get. So
definitely. So maybe if Nick and I came with me, we would have taken that turret. But buying items, making sure that we're good to go as soon as possible is also pretty good, because that means we're staying on the map longer. And right here, we're trying to set up a few ganks.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's back in action. Everyone's really close to each other. So once again, when you've got 3 and 3 going together, you're going to basically have a couple of things that need to happen. You're going to have Lady Wabish going on the engage for the silence or going for the stun. And then you're going to have Koshka doing the pounce, or at least Cruel throwing a sword in for the start of the fight. That's going to be optimal. And then that'll allow Zakent to follow with suppressing fire as soon as he feels safe enough to be able to drop it on the enemy team.
Yeah, like right here, it's pretty much the standoff. I'm using suppressing fire to clear the waves because I'm actually trying to store up my mad cannon stacks. I'm literally just like sitting on like 8 or 9 stacks and just waiting for it to cool down.
Waiting to pop. Now, no team is really pressing. The red team is still ahead in gold, so therefore like ahead in items and but still not sure they want to dive in. So and this really could just be like, it's an intense match. Everyone's sitting on like the couch. Everyone's like elbow to elbow. So doing a shot call in the moment to go in on the enemy team probably wasn't the easiest thing to do during that PAX.
It was actually, it was noisy enough that I could actually yell at my teammates and they would be like hearing me without the other team.
Oh, really?
So it was actually pretty cool.
That's cool. I dig that.
So right here, we actually snuck into this bush, and I don't think the other team noticed. So we were able to take down.
Look like it.
I think we were able to take down Gibbs.
Yeah, getting that that jump start was great. Taka gets to come in and do a ton of damage. Another great stun by Catherine. That Solar Storm hurt a lot, but we're still going to be able to look at this turret go down. So now this is a really critical point, right? So it's 3v1, but not everyone's full health on the blue team. So the question is, do we continue to press, risk with Celeste, or do we go get Kraken? It looks like the Kraken was the call.
Yeah, definitely. So we were actually considering pushing. Like we were like, do we want to push? Do we want to push? Probably not. Celeste might like 2-shot us. Like right here, she actually does quite a bit of damage. Landing 1 core collapse, and I just like, I think a pretty good chunk. Right here, I actually make a huge mistake. I actually recall for some reason. I have no idea why I did this. I really have no idea. This is like the most
get the Kraken,
terrible decision.
Go back to town. It's like, we just got Kraken, let's head out.
Yeah, I don't know why I did this.
I was really looking forward to talking to you about that, because there were 1 or 2 times where I was like, oh, they didn't escort the Kraken, and then as it got deeper and deeper and we saw more Krakens, it was like the Kraken could actually get bursted down pretty fast and wasn't getting any turrets. But so I'd love to hear if there were if it was circumstantial, if there were reasons with each of these Krakens why.
So the main thing about this one was I honestly thought the Kraken would do more damage to the turret on its own. And so I was like, okay, I'll let it go, and then I can come back it up later. However, it got killed super, super fast. It literally gets like 2 hits off on its turret. I was like, well, that's that. So I was thinking the next one, we'll escort it, but it wasn't as effective. Well, you guys will see.
Yeah. Well, and if you guys don't escort the Kraken into the base, a lot of times it can get shredded, especially if the other team is running like Koshka, or Cruel, just the amount of damage they're able to do. And then of course Celeste, just CP actually does a lot of damage to neutrals in this game, as well as weapon power. So tough to consider.
Most definitely. So right here, we're doing the same thing again. We're basically camping in bushes, trying to get them to face check us, and it's been a pretty good strategy. Like we caught them like 3 or 4 times. It
single-handedly, the game is really evened out at this point. The gold differential, once you start getting to this point of the game, stops mattering as much because most people are finishing their item builds.
Right.
A lot of times now it's just selling an item, getting an infusion, and buying the item back because you have the gold to do it. So so right now these fights are critical. The death timers are long, so that's actually Nick at Night sneaking into the bush, trying to get some vision and box. And then Gibbs getting caught by a lot of stuns, a lot of control.
Yeah, so that was actually really good by Gibbs. He jumped in. I did reflex block it. However, because I used my reflex block, Shin was able to land a core collapse, so I'm going to get the stun off.
Yeah, and you kind of clump up sometimes, when you're in a fight. Naturally, you're just like, let me get near my team. And that's Celeste, please, get near your teammate so I can
core collapse. Solar Star.
Everyone's dead. Yeah, everyone's gone. And Wabi's doing a pretty good job of trying to stall out to make sure that the death timers for Zakant, are a little bit lower so that the other team can't really make too many moves. If you know you're going to die, stalling sometimes is a really good strategy.
Most definitely.
Keeps them from pushing turrets quicker so your whole team gets back up. Nick and I getting spotted out there.
So right there, I think the other team, red team, has realized that we're camping in every single bush. So they're starting to use Telegenesis to check bushes every single time.
Shin is doing a really good job of bush checking too, spamming it pretty much every time it's up. So a lot of damage going on in the turret here. We see
it gets completely shredded. It's
so fast, so crazy. So now at this point, once again, it looks like both teams kind of deciding what do we do? We have an advantage again. We just got a turret, so red team deciding to go back. Almost up. Catherine got 5 seconds left, so
we're looking for more fights. Basically, you actually might notice Catherine did sell her boots, and this is because I think she needs some space for her flares. Like scout traps and flares, pretty important at this point.
It is.
And say that one more time, because there's a lot of people out there who would never do that. The importance of vision such that even at this late in this epic kind of marathon match that you would sell your boots just to make sure you have that vision that you need.
Yeah. So mobility is extremely important. Like having your boots really, really good. However, what's more important is actually knowing where your enemies are. Like if you have no idea where your enemies are, that's what happens. Molt gets caught out. They had no idea where we were. We just killed them.
That he just got deleted.
Oh yeah.
Deleted. Well, I mean, I think that's the power. You've got a tension bow and an aftershock on Catherine. So as soon as she pursuits and hits you, like you're hurt. Like at least probably half your health. And especially if you've got a lot of health items, like it doesn't matter. The shred on the aftershock is going to really bring you down. So right now we've got a decision that Shin and Gibbs look like they are okay with giving the Kraken up. I'm not really sure what the call was between them at this point, but maybe Shin thought he could, Solar Storm and steal. But once again, Blue making just incredibly clutch comeback plays in this game.
Yeah, so I think the call here was we actually thought, oh, maybe Gibbs is continuing to push. We had no idea that he recalled. So we're like, okay, we have to go defend our base. Because if we leave Koshka on her own, she's going to take out all our turrets and leave Aiden.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like it's a little bit of a risk. So Gibbs decided he wanted to go in and push. That was definitely like one of those in the moment clutch calls to decide like, do you want to go and try to contest Kraken 2v3, or should you push a little bit and at least shove your lane so the team feels like they need to send one person at least back to help contend?
Right. So right here, we were considering helping Kraken, but they have 3 people. We have 2,
and your Catherine's the one who's gone. So it's like, we don't really have like our disrupts. We don't have our silence. We don't have our stun. Like it's gonna be a bit tougher to man. That Kraken just
it gets shredded so fast. It's crazy.
Just done.
So one thing I was thinking we could do is, if we could stall this game out long enough, maybe we can just get enough Krakens that eventually one hit at a time.
One hit at a time.
Right?
That's funny.
Eventually.
Yeah. Eventually they'll fall. So once again, looks like Nick at Night using his box to check. Can be a good strategy. Can also be risky. Depends on what the cooldown is. Like for right now, for 12 seconds, he doesn't have it for this team fight if he needs it. But it looks like just the amount of damage these guys are putting out. Wow, that Solar Storm almost deleted Taka, but he was able to get out a little bit. Looks like Catherine used her fountain, which brought him back up to livelihood.
So the story of that fight was Gibbs actually had a really, really clutch Crucible. He actually shielded his entire team, and if he didn't, they all would have been silenced. I mean, probably would have just ended the game right there.
Yeah. However, well, you had him in the channel, so a silence with a suppressing fire is like
then it would have been over.
Deadly.
If we got him there, it would have been completely over. However, we weren't able to get the silence off, so Shin is able to get the Solar Storm off and chunk out Nick. If this was our 3-on-3, I think 3v2, since we did take out Mole, I think we would have had a chance to push to end the game here.
Yeah, I think so too. And a lot of fighting in the base. Like it's a safe place for Red because obviously they can keep going back and getting their health and their energy levels back up. But it's it's sometimes just tough to finish. Like sometimes you get in this kind of like stalemate of each team defending and attacking just enough but not enough. So it's like somebody has to really make the all-in call, or you wait till the next Kraken. Like that's kind of what it is, because most of the time at this portion of the game, teams should be staying 3-3. Going out alone without flares or any kind of visions, like that can be game over because your death timer is probably at 36 minutes. Where is it at, like 60 seconds at least?
Yeah, it's probably 40 or 50 seconds by now.
Yeah, it's really long. It's really long. I've only had a game I think go over 30 minutes once, so not too much experience with the death timers there. But
most definitely. Like I don't think I've played a game this long. I think I played one game at Passport. It's other than this, and this was epic.
The game changes. Like the longer the game goes, like it's like you're almost kind of playing a different version of Vainglory at 30 minutes than you would have been playing at 15. Like just the strategies you want to use, the way you stay together. Like right now, it's all about just your abilities being the things that are clutch. Catherine's silence going off correctly and core collapse going off correctly. Those 2 abilities alone could make or break the entire fight.
Definitely. And right now, Celeste is like, she is hitting like a truck. I think Shane actually sells his boots really soon and just buys another set of like another what's it called? Just more crystal damage.
Just more
basically.
crystal.
And to your point, like our metrics tell us the average match is 18 to 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're really just in almost uncharted territory.
It's basically
really,
super outlier.
Really marathon game. I mean, I can't remember. I don't think I've ever seen a 4 Kraken game. So
yeah,
really
I don't think
special.
so either. Shinzu's still doing a really great job of getting vision in every bush and causing, Wabish and the rest of her team to kind of have to dance around these balls of energy on the ground. Like they don't really want to walk over them because it hurts.
Those stars are dangerous.
So right now it's just about the engage and like which team feels like they're gonna be able to do it. I think from a blue team perspective, going in sooner than later is probably better because you're gonna get picked like a lot by Celeste. Like she's just gonna, what she's doing right now, and she's doing a great job, is just taking just little bits of damage. You may not be like super low on health, but every little bit counts at this point.
Right. And right here.
There it is.
There
Pause
it
it.
is.
Pause it real quick.
We could go back. So let's actually
my
like
gosh.
look at
Oh,
that
don't pause it.
specific.
It's gonna be hard, but
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. What was key about that was
The
when
moment.
Kent was using his suppressing fire, Shin saw it and said, I'm just going to ult Zekent. But Taka actually walked on the other side and took it to the face and took like the whole ult. So it ended up working anyway, technically.
Because just to explain that real quick, so if Lady Wabish is out front and her Storm Guard is up, and she takes Solar Storm, it's a completely different outcome, right?
Yeah.
Like it will reflect a ton of damage, and she will soak up damage and absorb it, right? But Taka ate that and got wiped out. It was the moment of the match.
Oh, yeah,
Shin
for
Kaigen, if
sure.
you're not watching twitch.tv/Shin Kaigen, just amazing broadcaster, amazing player.
What a
and
hero.
that was the moment.
That was
I
the
definitely,
moment.
up until that point, I thought we had the game. We were like, okay, we're slowly chipping away at their turrets. It might not be like the most elegant or the most like efficient way to do it, but we
we're
take
doing
one
it.
Kraken, we're getting out like a hit or two, and then we're taking Kraken again.
We're taking Dragon again, and
and
then
I
again.
was like, maybe we'll win eventually. But then that happened, and it was just like,
Go back to the big cam so they
man.
can see your faces.
Oh man, like that was so clutch. We just talked about the fact that this game was going to be decided on like one or two abilities being used, and it was. Solar Storm decided the output of that entire like final fight.
For
Most
anyone who might
definitely.
have joined us late, this
Hi, I'm
is
FooJee. It's
welcome,
me.
FooJee.
Hi.
It's you.
It's
Yay.
me.
Vainglorious tier player, here to provide his insight, here to lead Nemesis against Invincible Armada, going across many, many miles. One match we'll do on North America region, one match we'll do on East Asia region. It will be unfair to a team both times.
That'll be great.
But we will see how it goes. So whichever team is trying to play across oceans will have lag.
We should totally play another match on EU afterwards, so it could be like 3 matches. Everyone's unfair on EU.
That's
That's a good point. We should have thought of that. Give everyone lag.
Throw
for a
everyone
match.
into
That's
a lag
not-
pit.
Yeah, definitely.
Not ideal. I've been doing a little bit of ice as we've gone along. I've been trying not to talk because I was talking during the whole actual match. If you want to watch the replay on YouTube, so I want to hear from the person who was in the match and someone who is a much better player than me to analyze the match. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll keep putting the link to the actual YouTube video in the chat if you want to hear the actual shoutcasted call. So let me do some more ice.
Sounds
Let me
good.
do some more ice.
What do you want to do for now? We got 30 minutes until you guys start your match.
So,
do you guys
yeah.
want to go over the day one match?
Yeah,
a
we
little
could
bit?
do the day one
Let's do
match and
that.
talk about that. So the Invincible Armada versus Nemesis is going to be 2 matches starting at 3:30 Pacific. So 30 minutes from now is when the first match starts. Until then, we're going to give away lots of ice, and we're going to have FooJee talk through the match. So this is Prodigy X on Ringo, Ms. Vixen on Petal. They were definitely the newest to the game, right? But Ms. Vixen's preparation was really legit. Like I would go into the backend system every now and then, like, oh, I should make sure, she has all the heroes so she can practice, right? And it's like, oh, all right, she has been playing. She has been playing a lot, right? Took the preparation very seriously. It
was almost like
they
in-
really got it together.
In Dragon Ball Z, when they would go into the room,
Hyperbolic time chamber.
hyperbolic time chamber. That's it. And they would like hit 1 year in 1 day, and they would come out and just feel like solid.
It's time.
The other
time.
thing that was super fun was like when we had the walkthrough to make the graphics, Ms. Vixen said she was going to play Saw, And then she busts out Petal, and that was like Ms. Vixen and Prodigy X face to face, and then she busts out Petal instead. I was like, all right, it is on. Like, this is like, we're not messing around. We're playing a little brinksmanship there. Yeah, it was great. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Switching up the hero at the last second.
Most definitely. So this game is actually pretty interesting. We do have Scarf, Ringo, and Catherine on one side versus Glaive, Petal, and Arden on the other side. I actually really like Red Side's team comp. They have the Glaive and Arden together. That's a really strong game combo.
I think just from the character picks in the beginning of this game, I think the red team has the beefier combo. Because when you look at Ringo and Scarf, whatever Glaive or Arden, whoever they decide they want to just jump on, both of those characters, like Scarf, Ringo, the heroes, they have to decide, like, we either need to get out or we're going to have to sacrifice maybe one of us so the other can continue doing damage and perhaps face the other team. And Glaive and Arden, like, make carries have to, like, be light on their feet. Like, you can't just, like, you don't want to get trapped in an Arden ult. You don't want to get burned by Glaive into a really terrible position. So Ringo and Scar have to be really careful.
Most definitely. So one thing about this game was...
Do you have the match volume down low?
I should turn that off.
Yeah, there you go.
It's off now. My bad.
All right, we got it again.
Yeah, but one thing about Shin this game was he had like laser focus on me. Every time I started channeling my Dragon's Breath, he was on me with Afterburn. And I probably should have got to Reflex Block earlier, but, poor decision making on my end.
Well, you guys did have a really good start. You were able to catch Petal out, and killing a lane champion is always going to be a little bit more beneficial than just someone in the jungle. And the reason why that is because if someone dies in lane, someone in jungle is still going to be able to farm effectively. They're still going to be able to kind of do their normal rotation. So your team needs to either call for one person to go to lane so that all that farm doesn't just die to turrets.
Right.
Or you can decide that maybe you want to push a little bit heavy in the jungle still and leave lane open. But a laner dying really puts them a little bit behind the other laner, especially if Ringo's still able to continue last hitting and stuff. And that means when Petal comes back, she has to be a little bit more careful now because their Ringo has a chance to get up.
Right, most definitely. So Ringo, he could have taken a little bit of advantage here, having a little bit of low advantage, having a little bit of gold advantage, and just being able to pressure out Petal just a little bit. However, looking at the CS, Prodigy's actually sitting at 11 and Mix 6 is at 18. So Petal actually does make it a little bit hard for Ringo to farm if she's able to push in the turret consistently. Yeah. So that might have been where the CS difference came from.
And I just want to say real quick for anyone who's new to our stream, to win ice, all you have to do is follow the channel, watch the stream, and then it's completely random from there. You can win from anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter what region you're on. It's purely just I hit roll in this Twitch plugin, and it just picks someone who is currently there. And then please drop your player name in chat so we can record that and get you your ice after the stream.
Definitely. I wanted to talk just for a second about the other side of that equation, though. If you do die and you go back to shop, sometimes what you have to consider if you're still in, and really quick, we have obviously a really nice afterburn by Glaive getting Zakent out of position, but with boots, looks like you were able to just squeak by Petal before she was able to get in and kind of cut you off there. So a little smooth move by Scarf.
Yeah, it was definitely. So I actually did see that Petal went crystal, so I was like, okay, well, that means she's not going to be doing quite as much damage with her attack, so probably safer to walk through her than the other two.
Yes. Then Glaive is just going to be hammering on you. But one of the things I wanted to make sure was that if someone does die and go back to shop, or if it's an early jungle invade and you end up killing some people or something like that, you have to make sure you pay attention to maybe what they just purchased. Because they can actually come back to lane, and even being perhaps at a slight disadvantage with less CS, they actually may have an item better than you at that point because they went shopping before you did. So they can use that to their advantage too, to be able to turn back around or at least catch back up in the fight.
Most definitely. I can't count the number of times I've been playing Ringo and I was like, okay, well, I just got pushed out lane. Let's go buy attention, bro. Yep. Come back, instantly kill them. I was like, take that.
Take that. That's the way it works. And Wabish getting caught out just a little bit here, but doing an amazing job at using her shield and then using, I believe, a reflex block still at this point to absorb Glaive's ult, which would have probably killed her if she did not use it. So
most definitely. And you see me getting killed. I don't know how it happened. That's just this percentage
somewhere.
I don't even know how I died.
Oh man, it must have just been a glitch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Death timer not valid. But as Ringo, traditionally, it's with all characters, but specifically with Ringo, it's very, very important to get as many last hits as you can. Ringo is incredibly weak without items. His utility and kit really revolve all around his ability to have damage coming through his items, whether it's CP or weapon power. Versus someone like a Catherine, who obviously her biggest impact, it doesn't necessarily come from items as much as it is timing her stun well, timing her ult well. Obviously items help with crucibles, fountains, things like that. But if Ringo doesn't have that damage, then he's kind of just like a floating piece of paper in the fold. Like he'll get taken out pretty quickly without returning any damage, and that can be tough. So
most definitely, that's actually why you see Ringo's in the lane most of the time, because you do get more gold in the lane. You get more experience in the jungle though, so you see some characters like Catherine in particular in this game. She is in the jungle because she needs those levels. She doesn't need the gold. It's nice to have, but you don't really need it that badly.
And that was an incredibly well done afterburn catching Ringo out, and then a really nice follow up from Gibbs on using his ult, really bringing down the gauntlet, and Ringo had nowhere to go. Like he doesn't have a reflex block, so at that point it was just like good game.
Yep, pretty much. That's one of the nice combos with Glaive and Arden, like being able to knock someone into the middle of the lane. Arden ults on top of them, they can't get it.
Yeah, what do you do at that point?
Yeah, you either walk into the wall and die, or you just die.
You just die. I think like if I were to kind of channel myself through that moment, I would probably just try to do as much damage as I could to the enemies that are in the ring with me. Yeah, I mean, if you know you're gonna die, at least try to have maybe some kind of impact before you go out. And I know it's like it's really like you see a ring, you want to run away. Like you see someone, like if you know your death is imminent, the natural reaction is just like, I got to get to the turret, I got to get somewhere safe. But if you can have the clarity, which is not always easy in a moment where you're about to die, but if you can have the clarity to say, you know what, I'm gonna die. I know I'm gonna die, so let me just like shoot a couple of shots in Glaive's face and help my team who's still in the battle at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you just gotta accept the fact that you're not getting out.
I'm not getting out of this. So let's just do as much as we can, for sure. So, and Scarf, like being in a game, is something that you don't see as frequently in higher like Vainglorious kind of level matches. So to see Zakent playing Scarf here in this match really gave people a really cool opportunity to see just like how to position, like how to use your Spitfire, how to like lay down the goop and continually like help zone, because Scarf is not, I think Scarf's not the easiest champ to play at all.
Most definitely.
Obviously he's all skill shots, but different than Celeste, Scarf has to think about obstacles, and Celeste is just like, what obstacles?
Right. It's like, I'm gonna drop a star, like
I'm just gonna drop it like Heliogenesis, like right here. So it's like a trade. It's like Celeste, her ult is like not obstacle friendly, but Scarf's like primary like nuke attack is not obstacle friendly. So a different kind of mage play style, but always cool to get to see them in a game. So
yeah, most definitely. I don't know if I had the best Scarf performance on this game, but I tried my best. And right here we do see Gibbs going in and get stunned up by Lady Wabish, which is incredibly impressive.
Yep.
I was actually, the reason I actually danced around with my ultimate right there and it was not very effective was because I saw Shin afterburn on me. I was like, I need to get out of here, or else I'm going to be stunned and my ult's going to get canceled anyway, so I might as well just run.
And it was like, of course, like the one time that Shin like misclicked the afterburn when you could have probably just been fine. But it's like, who would have known, right? Every other time Shin's just like laser accuracy with his afterburn. Yeah,
most definitely. Like every time after this, I don't think I get my ult off for longer than a second.
Yeah,
it's rough.
It's tough. And the new build of Scarf really hinges on like solid ultimates being done and being done well. Obviously the older version of Scarf's build, a lot of damage came out of that the heroic perk and being able to kind of apply that pressure, and a lot of that pressure was moved to Scarf's later game, because before Scarf had trouble then. Now Scarf just has to be a little bit careful in the early game, and his ult does so much damage with the Pierce, like it can melt an entire team regardless of really the items they have. It does a ton of damage.
Most definitely, yeah. Like if you have 2 Shatter Glasses, you can melt everyone. Yeah. And if you have an Eve of Harvest on top of that, you're not gonna die.
Yeah, you're just healing all the way back up. And Eve of Harvest is a really good item for Scarf. I mean, you lay one goop and flame a lane minion like group, and you're back to full health from half. Like it's really effective. So, and we see Shin like putting a lot of pressure because he knows his team's coming. He's really just bullying Zakent right now. He's like, look, Dragon, I don't know what you're trying to do, but this is what I'm gonna do to you.
Yeah, that was rough. Like we had 2 people there and we still couldn't take him down 1v2.
Yeah, Shin and Glaive just naturally being a really like tanky like hero. Whether you build tank items or not, Glaive is just a big cat.
Yep, pretty much. He bounces on you and knocks you around.
Yeah, just knocks you around, makes you have to like think about your position. And Glaive is one of those heroes that change the dynamic of a game completely, because an afterburn is something everyone has to think about. Not every hero brings that kind of subconscious mentality. Like you might see a Ringo in game and think, okay, like, you know, we need to kill Ringo or something, but you're not going to be afraid necessarily of Ringo's abilities like you will Afterburn. Like Afterburn being in the game is kind of something you're always like, is he in the bush? Like, am I going to get hit this way, or am I going to get pushed in the turret? Like, it's just a lot of thought process that comes just with that single ability. And he doesn't even have to be near you for you to still be thinking about it.
Right, same with Arden too. Like, he drops the gauntlet, and then Glaive's right there, knocking you into the wall. It's like, this is terrifying.
It's like you use a crucible or a reflex to get out of the gauntlet, and Glaive's like, no, you need to go back.
Just go back in. Just go back in. It's okay.
Your fight wasn't over. No tag teaming, please.
Oh yeah, it's rough.
So, and the gauntlet can be casted like from over walls, like can be casted from bush, and the distance on the cast can be really like far. Like Arden can really drop a ring far from where he starts the ultimate. So you can get caught out pretty easily with thinking you're in a safe spot.
Most definitely, especially like they have a really nice combo here going. They have the gauntlet, Petal, and Glaive. So when the gauntlet gets dropped, everyone's kind of stuck in that ring, and Petal's just like, I'm going to explode my minions, and everyone's going to die.
Yep. It's a really good combination. And what we see here is really Miss Vixen doing a great job of continuing to be in lane, not letting her tower fall, like always making sure that she's a big fan of like dropping Cs. And I've noticed this watching her stream. She likes to drop them everywhere. And that's a twofold thing, right? And we'll pause on it for a second as we see like some focus kind of going towards Goldmine, but it says Arden and Glaive say no. not yours, our Goldmine, as they just really rip into Catherine, make her barely even look like she's a tank, just going completely ham on her right now.
Most definitely. These are rough times. Like, we don't do quite enough damage to burn through these tanks yet, and they are just running amok through our team.
Yeah. Zekint's going to try to get this kill. He saw a really good opportunity and a really clutch fireball right on the heel of Glaive to take him down. So that was a really nice turn. And like, for those of you that don't know, like, the longer that a champion goes without dying, like, you know, if the champion's like 10-0 and like 1 or something, like the more gold you're gonna get from being able to like get that kill. Versus like if you kill an enemy hero in the beginning of the game, they're only worth, I believe, 48 gold or something like
45,
that. So
48.
45, 48, which is about the same as like a small minion, which is 42. So like you have the champion kills later actually become a little bit more important. So Zekint made a great decision by at least taking out one, so he's able to actually beef up his items a little bit more now.
Most definitely. So one thing about killing things early game is that even though kills aren't worth a lot of gold early game, the amount of map pressure you get from getting an early kill is extremely important. Like, it lets you take over the jungle, it lets you have a huge advantage in lane. It just means you can snowball that tiny little advantage into something much larger.
Yeah, and knowing like when to get the kill is really critical, because sometimes the bloodthirst gets real and you chase and you get the kill maybe, but by that time, like, because the timers are so short in the earliest portion of like a Vainglory game, like maybe their teammates are already back up or you die, and it ends up really just being 1 for 1 and no objectives were taken, no jungle was taken. Versus, like Zekint was saying, like, once you get that pressure out there, like, make something happen from it. Go take a jungle minion, take a couple of them, maybe get some mines in some key places, so now you have vision. There's our scout traps, but there's a lot of things you can do with that pressure. You just have to make sure you do it.
Most definitely. So right here, we're grouping up as a team. We do see Gibbs and Shin kind of wandering around our jungle, you know, they're just clearing things out.
Yeah.
It's really hard for us to go in there and fight them, because even as 3, I don't think we can take the 2 of them on.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They're just so beefy, and without really even a ton of damage items. Earlier they were strong. Now Shin has a breaking point. So with his abilities and synergy with crit and the way Glaive works, like, breaking point he's going to stay in the fight for a long time. It's hard to kill a Glaive quickly, so you have to be really careful now of those stacks. And then, of course, like, Petal's distance right behind Glaive being very safe. Like, it's going to be really hard to get through Glaive and Arden to Petal. So Petal's going to be doing a lot of damage from a distance, and of course, you know, exploding those minions. And right now we see like a pretty big fight going on. Glaive once again just like, no ult for you.
Yeah, so sad. I do have a reflex block. I'm just apparently really bad with using it.
Yeah.
What was it like to kind of come to the realization that that's how it was going to be all match long?
I kind of figured that's how it was gonna be. Like I saw the glaive, I was like, well, this is my life now.
This is it.
I bought a reflex block, but unfortunately I was a little bit too slow on hitting it. I got better at it the next day though.
That's true. And like your reflex block, like you have to make some key decisions on like when to use it. Is afterburn the best time, or is like the gauntlet the best time?
Right.
Or is like a pedal munions under your butt the best time? Now it's kind of like, oh man, there's so many like good decisions I could make potentially, but it's tough. Yeah, they're really making you think. And it's just really dominant control, this game. Like it was really Gibbs and Shin just had so much jungle pressure. Like they made it so it was really difficult for blue team to really ever feel comfortable going into the jungle, because you just never really knew where they might be. And 2v3, I think they could probably pull off a number of times in this fight without Petal even necessarily needing to be there to back it up.
Right.
So.
Like once Pel was there, it was over for us. There was nothing we could do.
The cherry on top. And Wabish is still doing a good job of bringing mines into the game and trying to get vision. But Shin is just so strong at this point, bringing just in so much damage, taking out the carries. But that was so there's a very interesting point what just happened, right? So let's discuss Shin's thought process there. Chasing a Ringo. Ringo's at like a brick of health.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like it's just a couple more auto attacks, maybe one more ability. But he saw you like channeling your ult. So Shin says, you know what, Ringo?
Let's go kill Z, kid.
It's been real, but I'm going this way. And like afterburn's away from the dying Ringo to stop the ult. Like that was an impressive decision made in that moment that's really turned the fight for Petal and Gibbs.
Yeah, definitely. If he didn't come on and like hit me, then I'm pretty sure Petal would have gone down. However, with that little bit of extra damage, even though I got the reflex block off on the bathroom that time, it was still not enough to survive it.
Not quite. And then we also saw like Petal almost Petal was close. Like she almost died. Like right at the last little bit there. So
yep, she just had a sliver left. However, sometimes that's how it goes.
It's tough. I mean, and a lot of you guys know this, but like if both minion mines are captured and you're behind your base, they do give more gold, which can be helpful, but they're also much stronger. So it really makes it difficult for you to just leave, because those minions will stack up in your base pretty quick and do a lot of damage to your turrets if you're not paying pretty close attention to it.
Most definitely. Like our wave clear is okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Like we have a scarf. Ringo doesn't really wave clear too well. He can use his ult to wave clear, but I mean, not the greatest use of an ult, but
and that gauntlet right there was just a really good position gauntlet right at the entrance to going into the safer zone of your base. And
just got word from Invincible Armada. They are ready.
They're ready.
They are ready. Right there. This match is almost over. You don't have to rush the ending.
We will not rush things, but let's get you set up with
know.
that.
Yeah.
But oh man, that's just
exciting.
It's pretty incredible. So
we're missing one of them.
And I'm going to drop the link to Shin Kaigen's stream in here. For anyone who wants to watch more of Shin Kaigen's insane plays, this is where you can find him. His schedule is on his site. He streams Vainglory all the time. Just amazing. So much fun to see.
I think we're missing one of the Invincible Armada guys.
And I believe the two Nemesis guys are getting online right now. So.
Fantastic. This is going to be super exciting.
Who are you missing?
We have Kitchens and Ruin in so far. So
looks like Wine is...
You're looking for Wine?
Oh, we have a new friend request.
Maybe that's where it's from.
There we go. We found Wine.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Okay, we now have Wine.
So the first match will be on the East Asian server. And the second match will be on the North American server.
Ooh, this is exciting. I really am looking forward to watching this. This is going to be really good.
Yeah, do you already have everyone in there?
We're just waiting for
your boys.
I know, right? I can't control what they do. I just hope that
I was so worried about figuring out how to get these people in from Korea.
And they're ready.
Lost Boy Toph and Hardik are not on yet.
Oh my gosh.
They still have 8 minutes. Don't worry about it.
We're supposed to be on early.
These guys are just fashionably early.
Yeah, well, they're probably really refreshed. Like they just woke up.
Are you serious right now?
I'm just saying.
Invincible Armada, they woke up pretty early for this. I give them much credit for doing this on our terms.
I'm just saying.
And as you can see, this game is pretty much over. The Kraken's bearing down on our crystal, and it's pretty over. However, we do have FooJee with his team ready to go against Invincible Armada. Not Nemesis versus Invincible Armada should be really, really exciting. So let's hop into that. Let's see.
Getting
Right over here. You're making
getting
friends.
there.
You're getting
Hardic
there.
hops on
So
line.
I've been giving out ice. I was hoping, because I had a little extra time since you guys were doing the talking, that I could record everyone's player names like in real time. That was such a good theory, and in reality, I've gotten about 50% success. So
Nice. Didn't quite
if
work.
you win ice and you haven't given me your player name, you will, and you don't give me your player name on stream, you will need to send a private message to Vainglory on Twitch with your player name so that we can award your ice. Just to recap real quick, Epic Gamer 50182 is a winner. Jeff VCS is a winner. Tomorrowland is a winner. Child Protection Services is a winner. Biohazard Beluga is a winner. Sode72. N4D4V is a winner. Devil's Path is a winner. I did not see a response from him. And The Lustful is a winner. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
If you haven't given me your IGN already, I would recommend you send Vainglory a message. Go to Vainglory profile page and send us a message just to make sure I don't miss it at this point.
Sounds good. So I'm gonna let FooJee take it away.
You got all your people in?
This is
Yeah,
your
they're here
show.
now, so I guess this is what's going
All right,
on.
it's on the screen.
I'm gonna be right back.
What's up, fellas?
Just say hi to them in the. All right. Looks like we're
Looks
good
like
there.
there's on East Asia yet. No
Oh,
chat.
there's no chat on the East Asia yet? All right.
I don't believe so.
Okay, they say go.
They're good.
Yeah.
All right, let's rock it out. You guys ready?
All right, so FooJee, he doesn't want to be at a disadvantage, so he's got earbuds in so that he can talk to his teammates, Hardic and Lost Boy Toff, on new East Asian server accounts. They are playing INV Ruin, INV Wine, and INV Kittens. So we have Nemesis versus Invincible Armada today. I cannot wait until we have spectator mode in the game, and then we will do a lot more of this kind of thing. So this is kind of a first for us. Since PAX, we hope you enjoy it. I will just have to hope that FooJee is in the center of all of the action all of the time, because I will only be able to call what I can see.
That's fair.
But it will be
All right.
it will be all good.
You guys ready?
All right, I'm seeing go Nemesis. I'm seeing
All
go
right.
Invincible Armada.
All right, I'm ready to lock in.
I'm seeing things written in Korean that I do not understand, but I'm sure it's awesome.
What do you mean? What do you have to prepare
Here, why don't
for?
you take the chat over for me, grab a chair.
Oh, you're not ready.
And also, you know,
All right, let's see.
we
how
can
it
also
rolls.
ignore the chat so you can do some color on this too, which would be
He's talking to
fantastic.
his teammates. So
He's talking to
I'll
his
let him talk.
teammates, yeah. So it's gonna be you and me.
I don't know if I want to talk too loudly because we don't want to bother them.
Oh no. I mean, we gotta call the game.
Alrighty.
It's gonna be funky, you know.
the
It's
comps
all right.
right here.
We're just
We'll
gonna
have
bother
fun.
them. It'll be great.
Here we go, East Asia.
All right.
All right,
It's
everybody.
time.
Here it go. Here we go.
Oh man. All right, so let's we're gonna roll.
FooJee is just going to talk to his team. We'll do our best to talk to. So FooJee on Adagio, Hardic on my favorite Kashka, and we have a pedal as well on this team.
We do.
Pretty solid
And
lineup, I think.
you don't have to worry about us, FooJee. So FooJee starting attack speed. This might suggest that very strong weapon Adagio that we're seeing right now in the wild.
We loaded just a little later. but
Shin has made that triple Sorrow Blade
they're gonna try to take her.
Adagio. So we see an early jungle invade. We know one thing about the Korean players that we're seeing so far in Vainglory. They're extremely aggressive. They look for level 1 aces. So we see their aggression early on the start. In a high-level match like this, though, you will, of course, have the laner there ready, you know, to make it 3v3. Are we seeing now? Are we seeing? So are we going to see a lane Kashka in this match?
Yes, we are gonna see one.
All right. So the
Fantastic.
new
I'm
meta.
gonna make sure you get these too.
We're seeing a ton of this now. The new meta is Kashka in lane. We'll have to see what she builds without spectator mode. It'll be a little harder. Maybe FooJee will do us the honor, maybe when he's dead, of pulling up the scoreboard so we can see the items and talk about them. So hard to not have spectator yet. So Kashka's starting out with an Oak-Heart that suggests she is going to make sure she is has enough sustain to deal with the harass that she's definitely going to receive up in lane against, what was that, an Adagio?
Yeah, and one thing that you might notice is that Invincible Armada actually picked up 2 boots and an Iron contract, so they were actually going for a very, very heavy invade. It wasn't that Nemesis came out of the base slowly, it was that Invincible Armada was just ready with the boots.
And have you seen this lane Koshka enough to understand why it's a good idea in high level matches?
Oh yeah, Koshka has excellent wave clear at turrets, and she's able, if she does get enough gold, like a little bit of gold early on, Koshka is extremely effective. And because you can get a lot of gold in lane, being able to translate that with levels from lane and the gold from lane, you can do a ton of damage over that.
All right, so Adagio and Petal farming the jungle. Tell me, so I've heard some opinions that Petal in jungle can get outclassed a little bit as opposed to Petal in lane getting all that gold from the lane minions. What's your opinion on Petal jungle?
Petal in jungle will definitely be outclassed by Petal in lane because, you know, there's just less gold in the jungle to go around. However, Petal in jungle with an Adagio is extremely effective just because you have the minions, and Adagio can heal the minions to do damage. And the doubly long range from the two characters, having Adagio and Petal, it's very impressive for anyone you run into.
We're seeing Hardik in this match. For anyone who caught Ms. Vixen's stream the other night, Hardik made an appearance, and it was an annihilation. And I would like to apologize publicly to Ms. Vixen. Opposite sentiment for Lexi, who benefited from having Hardik in that match, but it was pretty hilarious to see the Hellfire Brews flying everywhere and carcasses littering the fold.
Most definitely. So this actually looks like a very even match right now. It's currently 0-0, but you might look at blue side. They do have quite a few Petal seeds and scout traps laid around their side of the jungle. So they're currently traveling. It has 3, and they actually ran into a scout trap. So now Team Invincible Armada knows where they are.
So buying a little early vision, just making sure they don't get caught here.
So they must have rotated all the way back.
You can hear FooJee. Yeah, the lag pretty okay so far, which is nice to see. When we used to play on Singapore, back in the earliest days of Vainglory, we would see about a 250 millisecond lag when on the wrong server. Not so bad so far. So an Adagio, an Arden, and a Ringo. So that Arden Adagio combo in jungle, you'd expect maybe you see that Arden throw down the gauntlet and Adagio trigger Verse of Judgment. There's a nice synergy there. What else are you going to look for with a Ringo Adagio Arden comp?
So Ringo is able to very easily dance around the outside of the fight because once Arden throws down the gauntlet, Ringo, he's safe from everything. He can literally stand in between the walls of the gauntlet and he'll be just fine.
So we know you can probably hear FooJee too. I hope it's not too noisy, but he's got to play. He's got to do his thing. So you'll get a little insight into how ELO players also talk during a match. So here comes Adagio in with boots. He's on the Arden. He turns now on the Adagio and picks up a kill.
Very nice play there. Adagio was cut out from his team, so they actually ended up fighting a 3v1 and a 3v2. So they were pretty safe.
Hardik gets caught on a scout trap. He's going to look to try to steal this jungle monster. And he'll continue in on Wine on Arden, and they'll back off. They obviously don't want to take any turret aggro here.
So that's actually a really good move by Team Nemesis. They're just taking a health pack right now, and you might notice that Invincible Armada actually has taken their minion mine, which I might consider a little bit of a mistake right now because Koshka does have really good wave clear, and the whole of Nemesis does have pretty good wave clear. They have Petal, they have Adagio. Between Adagio and Koshka, they can clear waves out super easy, so it might be a case where Invincible Armada is just feeding them extra gold.
That's a really good point. So for anyone who's newer, when you take that minion mine, it is going to push the lane minions. They're going to grow more powerful. Here they're going in on the Adagio. They're going all the way in. They're going to get him. They're going to take a little turret aggro, but that's going to be fine. Adagio has the heal. Koshka is on fire. It's fine. They're going to look for an opportunity to go down and possibly take gold mine here while they have the advantage. Petal is going to start it. They're in that bush, so they will know if Invincible Armada comes in to try to steal. There's no one there, and this is going to be an easy gold mine. So an immense gold payout collected, 200 gold to each member. That's going to help them accelerate their item builds. A good start for North America's Nemesis here.
Yep, and you might notice that Nemesis is actually picking up quite a few scout traps, having Adagio pick up 2. He actually has a lot of attack speed already, and the reflex box. So reflex box is really good against that Koshka and against the Arden. Arden's gonna try jumping in, and he's basically, or not the Koshka, the Arden and the Adagio, because if either of them, one of them ults, reflex block will save you. So if you get trapped inside the gauntlet, Adagio ults, reflex block. If you want to walk out, reflex block. Take your pick.
So just to quickly finish the thought from before, if you're not a Vainglorious level player like all the people in this match, oh no, here's another fight. So Yummy Cat in a frenzy. They go in on Adagio.
And things are happening.
All right. You can hear FooJee.
We have 2 on each side, so we'll be able to make something happen if they try to go back into the bush. This is kind of pushing in farm the lane really quick. I'm going to start
Kind of cool to hear the way they communicate in a match like this.
Yeah, so this is definitely a difference between solo queue and team play. Being in a team allows you to make very coordinated plays. However, when you're playing solo queue, you can use pings. They're pretty effective, but being able to actually communicate in real time with your teammates is very, very good.
So if you're not doing this, this is a sense of kind of the way it can be played. We know there's that Tinker companion voice chat app right now. You never know, you might see voice chat in Vainglory at some point in the future. Not my call. But you can see being able to communicate with your team either together in the same room or the way FooJee is doing it here with Lost Boy Toph and Hardik can really help team coordination.
Oh, definitely.
And what we were trying to say there a couple times, when you take the minion mine, it makes your lane minion stronger. It will push the lane, might overextend your laner, and they will be worth more gold to the enemy team. So that is definitely a consideration and a good point made out of you a few minutes ago.
Most definitely. So right now, Nemesis is invading. They actually do catch Arden, maybe?
All right. Adagio with the boot sprint, putting some damage. Very few people can trade with Adagio at this point. Here comes a Hellfire Brew, and that is going to be a kill on Adagio into a Verse of Judgment. They're continuing the fight here. Adagio is in trouble. He goes down. Arden is at very low health, and they're going to get it. There's the first ace of the match.
That's it.
There you hear FooJee. He's very excited. They're going to be able to put some hurt on this turret.
I didn't really even need it.
All right, so we're seeing, so tell me what you think. So Adagio, we're seeing weapon power and we're seeing attack speed. So that real weapon, that really strong weapon Adagio right now.
Right, so he's currently going weapon Adagio. However, he can still transfer into a crystal build if he decides to go with the alternating current. And just because you're going crystal doesn't mean you only attack on Adagio. So this is a really, really strong build. Right now, if he does go weapon, I'm pretty sure Akasha is going the crystal route. So they'll be pretty much okay no matter what happens. And they have some very, very flexible builds.
So FooJee, what are you using to communicate? What program is that? All right, they're on TeamSpeak, so he's on mobile TeamSpeak right now.
So you guys can see where they're at.
Pretty awesome. Alrighty.
Talk to me a little bit about Adagio's ability to trade with pretty much anyone right now.
Adagio is a nightmare. So for melee heroes, if you try and run up to Adagio, he'll slow you with his first ability. And
Arden looking to make something happen. Kashka goes in. There's a twirly death. She gets caught in the gauntlet as she goes flying ahead. She gets stunned but is able to recover. It looks like Wine might go down here. He reflex blocks to try to recover. He's going to get out alive. Ringo is going to go down though. Hardik is in trouble, but here comes a Verse of Judgment. It just misses.
Oh,
the Scout Trap is going to take out Hardik. They're going to get a minion mine out of it. So Arden getting 2 kills there, getting a kill on the Petal, getting a kill on the Kashka.
Yep, and right there you saw
a sad face out of the Petal. FooJee is going to take off. We'll see.
Yeah, you actually might have seen Nemesis actually took over the minion mine there because they know that Team Invincible Armada has been holding on to that for a while, so it's actually worth 200 gold for them. So it's totally worth taking at that point, and they're trying to push.
Can you pull up the scoreboard real quick?
That's fine, yeah, absolutely. Let me click down here really quick first.
Alright, so right here you can definitely see
Ringo has a tension bow. You want to build a dragon heart against that. We see Wine has a crucible. Is Wine the Arden?
I think Wine is Arden, yeah.
If he is, that would make sense. Some scaling ratios on health for Arden. That's what you want to see is a crucible or a fountain or a shiver steel out of an Arden. And then I didn't quite catch the third one.
So you actually might see here most of the characters in this game are going on a weapon path, which is quite interesting because armor will be extremely effective against pretty much everyone right now except the Petal. Petal is more utility and crystal.
All right, I cannot wait for spectator mode to return on live. We're working on that as hard and as fast as we can. The difference if you're saying, hey, you saw it at PAX, why can't you do spectator mode now? Why can't you just put it in the game? Playing it off of one server, off of one computer at PAX, a far cry from having that at scale for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of players. That is the #1 task for the Real Crawl right now, is taking spectator mode to scale. So a lot of work to do on the infrastructure for that, but we're really excited about the the early feedback that we've gotten. We really appreciate Twitch on twitch.tv/Twitch today on the Twitch Weekly show. That is at 1 p.m. Pacific Weekly. They gave us a shout out. So thank you to DJ Wheat and Soma. We appreciate that. And thank you for all your help at PAX East. So we're really excited about kind of the early reception of spectator mode. We're really excited to bring that to everyone as fast as we can, but a lot of work to be done. I cannot wait until I have it for calling live matches like this one.
Most definitely. So right here, you do see Nemesis grouping up. They're pretty much just controlling the jungle right now. And look at the scout traps. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Really interesting to see, just for players who are not Vainglorious tier, just how important vision is and that they're willing to spend for it, right?
Yeah, so the main thing about vision is just, if you know where your opponents are, you know exactly where you need to be. And whether that be to fight them or to loop around them, you can always get the jump on them.
For anyone who's joined us really late, we're doing ice giveaways. This is Team Nemesis from North America against Team Invincible Armada, kind enough to get up very early in the morning in Korea for this match. We're going to do 2 matches, one in each region. This region is in the East. This match is in the East Asian region. We did announce today, we showed the Saw skin splash art, and we did announce that skins will be a system. They will not just be buying skins in the store, skins will be a system. So that's all we can say right now, but in future updates you will definitely see the evidence of that. It will change the way you play Vainglory.
Most definitely. Right now, what do you think Invincible Armada can do to win? I think they actually have a pretty decent conflict come late game. However, I do think...
Well, one thing that I'm noticing is we haven't seen them really been able to start a fight on their own terms.
Right.
We haven't seen Arden be able to initiate by throwing down the gauntlet, separating Nemesis and catching someone inside of that, and really fighting the way and the time that they want to fight. That has kind of been the thing that I've noticed most is they haven't been able to really engage on their own terms yet.
Yeah, I think the main thing right now is if Arden is able to get a good gauntlet, catching Nemesis under their tower, that's the way for them to come back in this game. Because right now, if they let things be, Pell will just slowly poke away, slowly chip away at the turrets, and there's not much they can do about it.
So we see a Sorrow Blade along with the Blazing Salvo. So weapon power and attack speed, both going to make him really nasty with basic attacks especially. Did he forego... I didn't catch if he forwent Verse of Judgment in his putting points into the abilities, but that is something that we see often with this Weapon Adagio build. Will actually not put a point in the ultimate when he's able to, just to continue to max out Gift of Fire and Agent of Wrath.
Yeah, I actually definitely think 1 point in the ultimate is enough. You really don't need the extra points in it. All you really need is a stun, and you just do as much damage as you can with your auto attacks.
All right, so 30 more seconds, and if Nemesis can hold off Armada here, they will take every gold mine. Here comes a Ringo Fireball, so Hellfire Brew... Wondering if that was looking to... Yeah, so they were looking to just put a little damage on before initiating. We're going to see a gauntlet thrown down here. They're going to catch 2. It's 3 against 2. A reflex block. They're able to go through the wall with the reflex block. Ringo is kiting. Ringo is going to be able to take out the pedal. Here's a Verse of Judgment, and that drops Ruin down. Ruin goes down. Kittens gets caught by a Yummy Catnip Frenzy. Kittens is going to go down here as well, and that is a good sequence there. So a really good recovery by Nemesis there, able to, in the end, get the better of Armada.
Most definitely. However, they weren't able to take down everyone. I believe Arden still made it out of this fight. He just ran off to the left. I'm not really sure where he went. He probably recalled back to base.
Oh, spectator mode. Come to a spectator mode.
Soon. One day, right? Alright, so Arden defending his turret. However, against an Adagio and a Kashka.
So Kashka in deep. She's just putting hits on the turret. The turret will turn and hit her if that Arden takes damage. That's what will make the turret change focus. Is as soon as an allied hero takes damage, the turret's like, no, don't mess with the hero, and then we'll turn and start smacking on you.
I like to think of it as call to help. Like
call to help. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's like you're attacking my friends. I'm gonna go, back them up. So right here, it looks like Nemesis has a huge advantage. They are almost all level 12. And I believe I saw a couple members of Invincible Armada actually about 10 or 9.
All right, so in this case, do they need to just play conservative until everyone's at 12 and that level advantage isn't there anymore?
Yeah, I think at this point the best thing for Invincible Armada to do is to stall, because Nemesis has a pretty large advantage right now, and I don't think Invincible Armada will be able to win any sort of fight at this point.
So Kashka, her hands are glowing. That suggests, is that the Aftershock effect? Yeah, so that's the Aftershock effect. ready to pounce. So I love Aftershock on Koshka, Frostburn and Aftershock on Koshka. Now in 1.2 with the changes to Shatterglass and Broken Myth, you can also see Shatterglass and Broken Myth very effective on Koshka. And she also wants a Reflex Block or a Crucible there so that she can stay alive during her long lockdown. Hardik going to start Kraken here. They're going to camp out in this bush and continue to beat on Kraken until they force a fight. There comes the flare. So they know that Kraken, they're going to have to rush here now and try to stop this Kraken unless they're just going to give it up. If they don't think they can win the fight, they're going to just give it up. So they choose not to fight, but with the ace buff, here comes the Yummy Catnip Frenzy after a pounce in on Arden. Or, I'm sorry, in on the Ringo, who goes down. The carry is dead. Arden puts down a gauntlet. There's a Verse of Judgment. It's going to reduce the Arden to ashes. Here's the enemy Verse of Judgment. It's going to take out Lost Boy Top, but that is another ace. So this is going pretty much how
they're just taking
Nemesis
the next
would
turret.
So they're going deeper, taking on that turret as Kraken. So that's an interesting thing. I don't know if I've ever really seen that before. They start the deeper turret because they know Kraken is going to take out the outer turret. Interesting
Hey, when you know you can tank it,
Yeah.
might as well, right? The enemy team is completely dead. They are able to tank the secondary
2
turret while
seconds
Kraken's
until
playing the other
Armada
one.
members are up. They have ace buff minions. They're going to be able to take another turret. Only so much Ringo can do. Here comes the Hellfire Brew in on Koshka. Ringo kiting the Koshka. Koshka goes in on the Ringo. Koshka is going to go down here. FooJee is just going to do as much damage as he can before he dies. He does a reflex block. He kites. He stutter steps. And the turret will go down because of the Kraken. Armada will be able to take out the Kraken here before the game is over. I think they will. They are still, so you see level 11, level 10, level 11.
It's
so
a little bit
they are
iffy.
really struggling.
You gotta give him that attack speed buff.
You want a different kind of minion candy that gives attack speed for the Kraken, huh?
Alright, so the Vayne on Invincible Armada down to just a sliver of health.
Alright, so an Atlas Pauldron on the Arden. So a lot of tension bows on Armada's side. Not a double tension bow though. We didn't talk about the double tension bow.
Let's not talk about the double
Alright,
tension
that was a panic move. It has happened to all of us. And I think that's on us actually, because we don't have an undo in the game. We don't have a way to sell an item once you buy it. Molt just kind of went with it at that point. The Nick at Night second tension bow at the end was just a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, that was when the match was over. He bought that second one. So one of those fun nuances, but some really nice Hellraiser sword throws in that match.
Definitely.
So a great match. Team Molt did emerge victorious.
Alright, so it looks like Nemesis is just going to run straight down the lane and finish it off.
They're
I
just
don't really
gonna
think
look-
there's anything Invincible Armada can do at this point unless they get some sort of miracle team fight. They don't have any turrets backing them up. Their minions won't do much for them, and it's just rough times.
So after this match, we're going to give away a bunch of ice. So there's a Yummy Catnip Frenzy in on Ruin. The Ringo is in trouble. Staying with him. There goes down a gauntlet. It's not going to make much of a difference. Ruin is going to go down. Now the other two members catch up. They're just going to put the hurt on the Vein Crystal. Hardik goes down, but it doesn't matter. And that is going to be GG. GG,
game.
Nemesis. Good game. Raid at the 1950 mark. And that is the end of game 1.
Most definitely.
So GG.
Fantastic stuff.
Nemesis taking game 1 on the East Asian server. Tell us just kind of your thoughts on that. And while you do, so show the end item build real quick.
All right, guys, hold on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
Tell them to log into their North America accounts.
Playoff says to go ahead and go to your North America account.
All right. I'm gonna pull up the items. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah. So
Those reflex blocks.
essentially, we actually picked this comp to be on a laggy server because we know that Koshka doesn't actually have to have a good ping to still be like effective because her auto attacks just chunk. So you don't have to do as much stutter stepping with Koshka. So Koshka lane makes a Ringo or an Adagio or whoever they put there on their heels the whole time. So Koshka lane is a very specific choice for a laggier game, I guess. And then we chose Adagio Petal because they're both range and they don't require as much coordination like an Afterburn from Glaive would or a Catherine stun. We didn't really want to have to worry about like on EA having like Catherine not stun, if that kind of makes sense. So like with that kind of comp, that means that Petal and Adagio both have the poke, and it's pretty easy just to be able to get heals off and just kind of do auto attacks, and then occasionally Verse of Judgment if needed, or occasionally like explosions from minions or munions if needed. So.
All right. So
Sounds good. So one thing
go ahead and log into your North America.
Wait, don't do it
Oh,
yet.
no, don't do it yet.
You're gonna show it on stream. So I'm gonna swap to Big Camp first.
Oh, thank you.
And then you can do it.
Now I can do it.
Oh yes. Do not show your password and
All right.
things. You might want to turn the overlay items back on then,
It's
too.
fine. Alright, so what we're going to do is, he's going to log into his account, we're going to handle a little bit more ice, and we're actually going to switch to FooJee's stream.
Yeah,
so he can
maybe.
play the next game on his stream.
No,
No,
we're
we
doing
should totally
both.
do that.
No, we're doing both these matches on ours, and then FooJee, and then we're gonna host FooJee, and he's gonna do the matches on his.
Alright.
Yeah, because he's got other. Oh, all right. So, what is? Oh yeah, it's almost 4 already. Yeah, no, that is a good call then. Okay,
Yep.
so that's what we're gonna do. So for match 2, we're gonna host FooJee.
Okay.
So you can stay right where you are, but if you want to be able to chat, with, I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll continue to
Chat
chat.
with us.
We'll continue. So stay in the Vainglory channel. We're gonna host FooJee. We're gonna stay in the Vainglory channel. And you can continue to chat with us. So you don't have to do anything. Just stick around, and we'll continue to give away
We'll
ice.
see you guys soon.